Does a circuit board's color matter? The result is that PCB color has no bearing on performance. However, users frequently select green, blue, and red as their PCB color, just to raise their excellent PCB rate and reduce manufacturing costs, as well as for simpler PCB repair work. A printed circuit board that is advertised as being green is not truly green. The solder mask, solder resist, and solder grease is the only component that is green. The boards are coated with a solid resin that has colored pigments using a silkscreen technique. Solder masks are used to control the flow of molten solder and to shield the electrical traces beneath from dust and moisture. While the solder mask can be any color, blue, red, yellow, black, or white, the actual core of a common FR4 circuit board is a basic, lifeless shade of yellow. For the adventurous, even more exotic hues like orange, pink, and purple, matte variants, and even combined color boards are available, so the question of why green still stands. Early quality inspections relied on people manually inspecting the boards with their bare eyes due to technology limitations. Neurologists and psychologists concur that the wavelength of green light has calming effects on the body and can alleviate fatigue. Squinting at small circuits all day is an exhausting job. In addition, they discovered that green light is the most sensitive to the cone sensors in human eyes. The contrast between the circuit traces, pads, silk screen printing, and empty spaces is therefore higher. One can quickly spot flaws in the outer layers just by looking at the boards from the outside. See how green boards look next to other colors like blue, yellow, or even black and white. Errors are easier to detect when the contrast is stronger. Of course, flying probe techniques and automatic optical inspection, or AOI, are used by PCB makers today and are quite effective at detecting faults. The majority of PCBs are green for another very significant technical reason though. Research and development efforts to create superior solder mask oils concentrated on the typical green color due to the historical use of green pigments. The performance of the resin during application and in the field is influenced by the specific chemical pigments that are utilized. No one is interested in having pink boards when demand is straining form factors to their breaking point. Green solder masks now have better qualities in comparison to other aesthetically pleasing colors. The only hue that is currently on the market that can consistently produce solder mask dams of 0.1 mm or 4 mil is commercial green. Black and white can often only attain 0.15 mm, followed by red, yellow, and blue, which can form 0.12 mm dams. For ICs and fine-pitch components, solder mask dams are essential because they're effective in preventing the formation of solder bridges. Did you realize? Chlorine is the source of the green in most green solder mask oils. Chlorine and bromine, both of which are included in PCB substrates, are halogens that, when improperly disposed of, can have a very negative effect on human health as well as the environment. There are substrates and solder mask oils available without halogens. You might simply choose a different color if you want a halogen-free solder mask. Silkscreen methods are commonly used to apply a solder mask. The circuit board is placed on top of a screen mesh and is being dragged across by a sizable blob of oil. The circuit board is taken out to cure, and the subsequent board is placed beneath the mesh. Then, before using the new color, you must wash the silkscreen and remove any extra solder mask oil. Otherwise, each color requires its own silkscreen station. Furthermore, a separate station for the black silkscreen ink is required for solder mask shades that are white or lighter. Additionally, the oils don't last very long. If you discover that a specific color is not very popular, the chemicals will be wasted and performance will suffer. Some people think that the military was responsible for the green color's selection and standardization. Green was the hue that performed the best when the US military examined PCB colors in challenging environments, according to their research. The military concluded that green printed circuit boards would become the standard after their experiments. Additionally, the PCB producers who made the circuit boards used by the military also had a number of non-military clients. Since most PCBs are only visible to makers, companies didn't need to produce them in various colors. The easiest hue for the human eye to perceive, according to the study, is green. It has a reddish-blue hue. The primary hues that make up green are simpler for the human eye to distinguish because green occurs close to the center of the color spectrum at 555 nanometers. So it makes sense to use green while examining something intricate and small, like a PCB. Looking at something like a PCB can easily strain the human eye. Because green lessens eye strain, those tasked with checking PCBs can do so without developing eye fatigue. They can perform efficient manual screening since they can view every component of the PCB. Other hues frequently cause eye fatigue. The solder mask green and the green of the traces, pads, and silk screening stand out clearly when green is used. Green PCBs have become commonplace because manufacturers of all stripes are worried about prices. To put it simply, using green is less expensive than using any of the other colors that are accessible. The majority of PCBs are green. However, that is not a must. The performance of the board and the device it will power is unaffected by the color used while creating a PCB, but how it is resolved varies. This indicates that on boards of various colors, it's more challenging to see the solder mask. The other more popular colors include red, blue, black, and white, in addition to green. On some circuit boards, though, the rainbow's full spectrum is visible. Various colors are frequently assigned to specific components of the gadget. For instance, motherboards are typically coded green in computers. This makes it easier for computer users to rapidly locate their machine's most crucial PCB. Different colored boards are frequently used for smaller activities to indicate their progress. Comparatively speaking, working with colored circuit boards is more difficult than working with green ones. For instance, the heat needed to press black circuit boards together struggles with the color. It frequently overheats. White boards might be challenging to read. Because so many colors shine out on red, it is simple to use. The way PCBs are made is unaffected by different colors. Even when copper is added or removed, the PCB still has copper on one or both sides. Because the copper layer on a PCB is so thin, the green color is very noticeable. To stop it from oxidizing, the thin layer of copper is eventually coated during the soldering procedure. This is what the solder mask accomplishes, and in many cases, it also comes in green as standard. It is challenging to locate the traces when the copper doesn't stand out clearly in other hues. The parts are assembled after the traces have been drawn. Based on the board's layout, they need to be soldered into place. The board is finally tested after the components have been installed. They are put into production if they are successful. Engineers are usually required to design printed circuit boards, and prototypes must be created before mass production. For a number of reasons, PCBs are typically built using green materials. The color green has become the norm for circuit boards for a number of significant reasons. Inspectors can see the components and traces on the board more clearly thanks to the color's easy-on-the-eyes quality. Although PCBs don't have to be green, changing their color may slightly slow down manufacture because other colors are less aesthetically pleasing than green. Different varieties of solder mask colors have been seen. A solder mask made of cobalt and carbon is black. Due to the carbon content, this particular solder mask is conductive. Although conductive layers are generated across the PCB lines, they can be employed as a shield to protect the signals from various types of outside noise. Additionally, a black solder mask is manufactured from a cobalt combination. In the majority of LED applications, white PCB color codes are included. A blue solder mask will be seen, which is typically utilized in LCDs. It is employed to prevent any systematic distractions. The red PCB color code is typically used to distinguish the board from other boards. To identify a specific part included in group assembly, the red PCB color code is primarily used. Precision equipment like oscilloscopes, analog resources, and bench multimeters frequently employ red solder masks. Numerous sources have shown that printed circuit boards prefer the color green over all colors. It is a result of the green color's superior performance compared to other PCB colors. When it comes to soldering the component pitch, green produces superior outcomes. The color green is frequently thought of as the standard for printed circuit boards. Japan is one of the top nations in the world for invention and cutting-edge technology engineering. It has been observed that Japan uses the highest percentage of green printed circuit boards. Germany, on the other hand, has reportedly used non-standard PCB colors more frequently than many other nations and engineering sectors. That's all for today. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button to receive notifications. Also, express your valuable thoughts in the comment section below. Until then, bye. Also, spend some time watching other videos on the channel.